Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is the Ides of March, and of course the phrase is beware the Ides, the day to remember the killing of Caesar in 44 BC. And for this weekend of the Ides of March, we have terrible storms throughout the U.S. They're saying it's the South, but here I am in Washington State. We had a big windstorm to start the day. We started with no power and no internet for a little bit this morning. Anyhow, beware the Ides. Many states under weather warnings, wind, hail, tornadoes. And last night, Pi Day, March 14th, a few states impacted with deadly tornadoes. Early this morning, they're saying at least 16 dead from those storms. This headline here says at least 13 dead. The latest headline, which I just saw a little before I went live, was 16 dead. But again, I hate explaining these things because the people who rule over us are the most evil of tyrants. And a lot of people, they just don't have enough IQ points to understand what's going on in the world. They haven't done enough research on anything. They got big opinions with no knowledge behind it. Again, if you're new here, weather warfare was admitted to for the first time on August 15th, 1952. That was over 70 years ago now. And that is the Jesuit order's birthday. We talked about August 15th last night with the blackout in Cuba at 8:15 p.m. local time, synced with August 15th. Anyhow, the Jesuits and weather control. It goes back to the history of Lyndon Johnson saying, who controls the weather controls the world. Remarks he said multiple times, including at Holy Cross, the Jesuit university. Notice that from Hollywood putting out the film Twisters last year on July 19th, 2024, to the deadly tornadoes last night was exactly 34 weeks. And what does Twisters equal in Gematria, the Kabbalistic practice of coding numbers into words? It equals 34, just like murder. And think about using the weather as a form of purposeful destruction, purposeful depopulation. It's been going on. Again, why would they do this? Go back to what founders said about what could happen to this country if central bankers ever controlled it. Central bankers will start making policies that are lucrative to them. What happens when property is destroyed of the governments, or just a lot of property is destroyed in general, and then governments go out and seek ways to help out those people? They have to take on loans from central bankers, which means the central bankers make a profit anytime the government needs money from them. And when acts of God happen and there's mass destruction, that's what happens in this system. Weather warfare is a form of warfare. It's been said a gazillion times by a gazillion different people. All wars are bankers' wars. So anyhow, exactly 34 weeks, and realize we've been documenting this. Remember last year? Do you remember last year, 2024? All the bizarre tornadoes last year? Places that just weren't used to ever seeing tornadoes were having them last year. Places like Buffalo, New York, et cetera, et cetera. Last year was showing how all of these things were synced with this movie last year. If you're new here, there are 4 base ciphers of the English language. The alphabetic order, the reverse alphabetic order, and both orders with numerology applied. You can see how Twisters is 56 when you run it in reverse, and they're the threat for this weekend for the Ides of March. You can see how Ides of March and climate change overlap. And again, with all the crazy weather, that's the thing that half of the media says, oh, it's climate change. And is it, or is it weather warfare? You pay attention to what's going on. It's all very specific and highly ritualistic. Notice also in the 4 base ciphers how weather control and the Jesuit order are a perfect overlap in 3 out of the 4 ciphers. Again, the first act of weather warfare was admitted to on the Jesuit order's birthday, August 15th, 1952. You can see how the one cipher where there's not overlap, weather control equals 75, like Twister, the singular. That was the first Hollywood movie. But anyhow, tomorrow, March 16th, is going to be the 75th day of the year, and it does go with weather control. And Sunday is the last date for the issued warnings for storms for the weekend. And the other thing about tomorrow is it's the kill date for the month. If you're new here, there's one day a month that is the kill date. And that's because the date numerology, there's 3 paths. So tomorrow's date numerology will equate to 64, 28, and 44. The word kill equates to 64, 28, and 44. And again, deadly weather does kill. And keep in mind the word military equates to 44, and that's the technology that's used to influence the weather. Again, people really need to wake up to this. I still remember last year the deadly hurricanes. And we predicted why last year was going to be a very deadly hurricane season before the year began. You can go back and see why that was. But I still remember how they had that congressman who represented the 26th district in Florida come out, and he was being syndicated all over the news for calling people nut jobs for saying there's such a thing as weather control. As we pointed out, it was literally that congressman who's a lot older now, but it was his 26th birthday back in the early 1980s when the U.S. government banned weather warfare. It was actually passed by Congress on his 26th birthday, and they had that guy making the rounds, calling people nut jobs for saying there was such a thing, when in history, again, the U.S. government had literally banned weather warfare on his 26th birthday. The guy who represented the 26th district. And remember, the word God equals 26, and they call these things acts of God. But we know better. The Jesuits' biblical order, and they've developed technology to perform acts of God to keep the ignorant masses, under their control, and seemingly just without a clue, even though in the information age, it should be easy to look up all this stuff. That congressman last year acting like the U.S. government hadn't been researching weather warfare with hurricanes since 1947 with Project Cirrus and Project Storm Fury. Don't think they haven't been doing the same thing with tornadoes or twisters. So, yeah, just wanted to get out this information on the Ides of March. Be safe for all those in harm's way. It's a reminder why you should always have, that rainy day supply of water, food, non-perishables, first aid, protection device. You just never know when it's going to be your neighborhood next. All right, we'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker, and until next time.